I
This
saw that there
conference
are
will
around
now be recorded.
2 or 3 places where we have missed the audio for a fraction of second. I can say 2 seconds or so. Is that right? Or
Correct, correct.
okay. So for that, I think the issue might be with my operating system. And today, whatever the operating system that I have is Windows Server 2019, and I have the brand new headset. So let's try. Okay, please let me know if you face the similar issue again. So I need to sort it out, or I need to check where exactly the issue is. I need to change this GoToMeeting as well in that case. So let's see. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Kumar. Seems your voice is now much better much better today.
Okay. Because I told you
Thank
now, I got a new headset for you people, and I have disabled the microphone boost as well, so that voice would be good. Okay. I tried
thank
recording
you.
myself. So see here. And no worries here. If you have this kind of feedback, please let me know so that I can also check and it would be better for you only. Okay. Yeah. So see here. Previously we have discussed on tables. Okay. Previously we have discussed on tables. And when we are discussing on the tables, we saw few things. How to create the EDTs and what is a field group and what are the best practices. Okay. We have seen all that. So today we will see something very interesting. Okay. And that would be, let me open the table to see what is the next one. Indexes. Okay. Because whenever I speak about the indexes, people used to simply say only one thing. To improve the performance, we will use indexes. Oh, okay, that's great. To improve the performance, you will use indexes. And to degrade the performance as well, we will use indexes. Okay. To improve the performance, we will use indexes. To degrade the performance, we will use indexes. I will tell you how it will improve the performance, how it will degrade the performance. So now this is my address table, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. Okay. What are the fields? First one is zip code, city, state, country, district, street. Now I want you people to ask, how many indexes will you define for this specific table? How many indexes will you define? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many?
We would go for zip code max.
Okay, you want to go for one index, and that would be only zip code. Okay. Now let's say the customer forgot zip code. He know the street name. What will happen? If you take India, there will be nearly 10 lakh streets. Okay, 10 lakh streets. So it should sort all the 10 lakh records. Obviously, there is no other choice. So the performance will get to go down if you define only index with zip code. So how many indexes will you define? What would be your next option? Only one index?
No, a state would add a state also.
Okay, you are defining second index, 2 indexes, and the second index you want to add a street. Okay, very good.
Because of larger
Now,
record.
okay, now, so what is an index? I will simply say index is a lookup table in sorted order. Okay, index is a lookup table in sorted order. I told you that there are 10 lakh streets. There are 10 lakh streets. Now let's say my street name is ZZZZZ. Now what it will do? It will again search in all the 10 lakh records, because if it needs to pick this record now, it should go to 10th lakh. Okay. To identify this, it should traverse all towards. Again, it's a difficult. So see here, in this case, you need to define 2 indexes at the max. That is fine. But what are those 2 indexes? From that, we need to know what are the types of indexes if we need to define it. Okay. The first type of index is called unique index. The second type of index is called non-unique index. What is unique index? whatever the key that you are defining, it should be unique across the table. Okay, in a table, if you are defining an index and unique index for that particular field, the field should have unique value across all the rows in a table. Across all the rows in a table, the value should be unique. Okay, to uniquely identify the record in Dynamics AX, it will already create one index for us, and that index is rec id or the record id. The record id is used to uniquely identify a record in a table. Okay, and this record id is created anyways, and it is a unique value. Now there is one more option. Sometimes people will say, oh, I don't want to create index for record id because I don't want to use record id while searching. In my queries while searching, I don't want to use rec id. Okay, if that is the case, we will have a property called create rec id index. We need to set it to false. If you don't want to use the rec id index, you need to set create rec id index to false. It's the property of a table. Let me show you. If I go to the properties of a table, you can see create rec id index. It is yes. If it is yes, it will create the index for rec id. If it is no, it will not create any index for rec id. Okay, next, non-unique index. It can have duplicates. It can have duplicates. Okay, so these are the two different types of indexes. These are the two different types of indexes that we have. Okay, now the next thing, one index zip code. This would be the unique index. What is the unique index? Which cannot have duplicates. So I will define zip code as the unique index. And the second one is non-unique index. And this non-unique index or the unique index, you can define again in two different fashions. First one is called single field index, and the second one is called composite key or candidate key. Okay, you have a lot of terms. Okay, multi-field index. Like this, you have a lot of terms which we will be using. Okay, now you need to define. Okay, if you want to use the index with multiple fields, we will call it as a composite key. Okay, and if you want to create an index with single field, that will be your single field index. Now this zip code is called single field index. Whereas coming to the non-unique index, I want to define using multiple fields. The fields would be again street, city, state, district, country. Okay, if our application is being used by multiple countries, then we need to define country as well. Okay, this is my second index, and this is what is composite key. Okay, and here I am defining it as a non-unique index because there's a possibility of having duplicate street names. Okay, there's a possibility of having duplicate street names in a number of places. Okay, which is why I define it as a non-unique. Now to define the index in Dynamics AX, right click, create a new index, and if you go to the properties, allow duplicates. If you set this allow duplicates to no, if you set this allow duplicates to no, then it will become unique index. Alternate key, I will come back. And configuration key already we discussed. I don't want to go with that again. Okay. Next, enabled. If you want to enable this index, you need to set it to yes. Index type. In this index type, you will find index and column store. Okay. And this column store is a concept of SQL Server 2017 and next other versions. Okay. And coming to this column store indices, that is a different way of creating the indices. I don't want to go with that in detail because that's again a SQL topic which is more different. Okay, to make the things faster, it will store data in the RAM. Okay, and for that we are going to use this column store indices. And now I am defining the index. I will call this as zip code IDX. And then if you want to add a new field, you can add by using new field, or you can simply drag and drop the field to this one. Okay, You can simply drag and drop the field to this one. This is my unique index. And the next one would be, I will call this as candidate key. Okay, or you can also call it as composite key. Allow duplicates, I will set it to yes. Allow duplicates, I will set it to yes. Now in this I will add, I think we have defined now street, country. Oh, we missed one more field, state here. Okay, I'm using the same entity to create the state. I will call this as state. Okay, if you want, you can create one more entity. That does not make much difference. And then state, and then state 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 city and district. Okay, done. We have created 2 indexes now. So after creating these 2 indexes, if I show you the properties of the table, here you can see there are 2 more indexes. One is called primary index, second one is called cluster index. By default, it is set to surrogate key. So what is surrogate key? It is nothing but the rec ID. Okay, surrogate key is the rec ID. Okay, now let me save this table, and if I go to the properties, in the primary index, in the lookup, I am getting only one, which is zip code IDX. Why I am not getting this? Because the primary index or the primary key should be unique. The primary key should be unique. And sometimes people used to confuse saying that primary key should have only one field, whereas it has multiple fields. So now let me do one more thing. For the time being, I will set this to no and then save this. Now if I go to the properties, you can see I got the candidate key as well. Remember, primary key can be single field, primary key can be multi-field. Primary key can be single field or multi-field, but it should be unique in nature. Okay, if it is non-unique, then you cannot create a primary index using it. Okay, this is one more point that we need to remember. And the next one is the clustered index. Okay, in the clustered index we have unique and non-unique and everything. Okay, so now what is the difference between primary index and clustered index? Primary index will define the sort order in SQL database. Oh, sorry, AX. Okay, primary index will define sort order in Dynamics AX. Okay, remember, sorry, just it got missed. Primary index will define the sort order in Dynamics AX, whereas coming to the clustered index, it will define the sort order in SQL database. It will define the sort order in SQL database. And I don't want to use this record index, then you can simply set it to no. It is possible. Okay, you can do this. Okay, these are the indexes. Now what are the indexes? We have unique index, non-unique index, single field index, multi-field index, and then the next one is primary index and clustered index. And along with this, we also have the primary key, and the second one is alternate key. Okay, I will come to alternate key within a minute. We have seen primary key, I will come to alternate key within a minute. And before that, let me rebuild the code. Now I want to ask you one more thing. I have defined the candidate key and zip code. So how many of you say these 2 indexes are correct? And how many of you say zip code is right and candidate key is wrong? How many of you say zip code is wrong and candidate key is right? What do you think? While it is building, you can answer. What do you think?
It seems correct.
Seems correct. Okay. What about others? Everyone say it is correct.
Zip code is correct. Okay, could you please explain candidate key once more?
Candidate
Candidate
key
key?
means we are going to have multiple fields in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have defined candidate key using multiple fields. That's it.
Okay.
Now,
Think
what do
both
you think?
correct.
Okay, both are right. Okay, I got two answers saying both are right. What about others?
I think zip code is correct.
What about candidate key?
Do we need all the fields in the candidate key?
Okay, you mean to say we can use only one or two fields? Okay, let's say now I have three countries. I have India, I have America, and then I have some England or something, Britain. Then you need all the fields. There is no other choice. Next.
Both are correct, Kumar.
Okay, good. Both are correct. Okay. Now I will say zip code, whatever the zip code index you have created is right. Candidate key, whatever the you have created, index is okay. Whereas coming to this order, it's completely wrong. Okay, because the first thing you need to understand is how the SQL will start searching. Okay. Now let's say someone has given the name. Okay, he would like to get the records of specific district. Okay, I don't know whether New York was district or not, but let's take that is a New York. He is trying to search the city with New York. So how it will find? Okay, because computer is blind, the CPU is blind. Whatever we say, whatever we give, it will do. Okay, now what I have given, I told that street is my first index. So what it will do, it will take all the streets. Okay, and then it will map this street with city. So if I say New York, how will you find here? How will you find? Will you search for all the streets in New York and then you will go to New York?
First, we need to search for country, then state. like that.
Exactly. So whenever you are trying to search in or whenever you are trying to create an index, what is important here? What is important? Order of the index.
Order.
Okay, because this order will make lot of difference. Okay, now you might say, oh, for this you are saying, then what about the other things? Okay, I will show you within a minute. Let the build finish. I will show you. Yeah, it's done. Let me open SQL. I'm interested to see in the SQL how it has organized the indexes. SQL. Where is this gone? This is the best thing. Okay. Run as admin. Okay, you need to run SQL as admin. Otherwise, you would not be able to connect to the database. Please remember this point. Just a second. Let it load. Now coming to this order. Okay, in the meantime, I will write. You need to define country, state, district, city, street. Okay, that should be the index here. So remember, the order of the index should be very important. If you define in an improper order, obviously your code will fail. Okay, now let me open dbo.ama address. This is my table. If I expand the table, I have the keys. Let me see how many keys are there. It has created only one key. Okay, that is my primary key. And indexes, you can see there is a candidate key and zip code because we have not created the index for rec ID. If you create the index for rec ID, you will have the rec ID index as well. Okay, here this is also Okay, in one place I will show you. We will create record index. You will have the rec ID as well if you create it. Otherwise, it will not be there. Now let me open this. Script index as new query editor window. And similarly, I will take this as well. Just a second. Script index as create to new query editor window. Come on here. Okay. Now you can see this. It has taken partition and then data area ID and then zip code. Now let's understand. So see here, this partition is the dead field in case of Dynamics 365. Maybe in the future versions, they might remove this. Okay. This partition will have the unique value. Okay. And that value will be 56371444576. Okay. And this is taken from where the rec ID will start. The starting value of the rec ID is this one, and the partition is taken from that value. So what is the purpose of partition? It is similar to the partitioning your hard drive. Okay. In few scenarios, the client will ask, I want to separate the data. I want to separate the data into two parts. At that time, we will use this partition. Okay. At that time, we will use this partition. For example, sometimes the customers will say, I want to have the public sector module in it differently, separately, and I want the other module, project management module data separately. So in that case, we will define two partitions and then we will set the values as needed. Okay, that is the case with AX 2012. Whereas in the front end, there is no screen for partition in Dynamics 365. If you want to set it, you need to do that in the back end. And in 99% or 99.99% of the projects, there will be only one partition. There will be very few cases where people will go with multiple partitions, and which is why it has taken at the first position. So what we need to take at the first position? First position or first value in the order of index should contain an duplicate value field. Okay, or I can say there should be a repeated value in most number of rows. There should be a repeated value in most of the rows. That value should be taken at the first place. How many countries are there? 235. Yeah, so you can take that value. Okay, now coming to the states, the second value should be, the second value can be, it is also repeatable, but compared to the first value, this has more number of values. Compared to the first value, this has more number of values. Okay, in this scenario, partition will be only one, or it can be maximum of 2 or 3. Data area IDs can be many. It can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 100, or so on. So what we need to do? Data area ID should be defined at the second position. Similarly here, compared to streets, there will be cities which are less in number. Compared to cities, districts will be less in number. Compared to districts, states will be less in number. So second value should be states. Okay, so in this fashion, whenever you are defining the index, the order of the index is very important. Why? Because whenever you are using this candidate key, you know what is the country. So what you have done, in whatever the street you are, you will at least know country, state, district, city, street. Mostly you will know all these values. So if you give all these values, in this case, what it will do? Whatever the index that we have defined here, it will search inside the city, street, and then it will go to city, and then it will go to state, and then district, and then country. Whereas in this case, 235, it will directly go to the country, and then it will go to the state. So we are reducing the number of records to be searched. Okay, we are reducing the number of records the SQL should search, the SQL should look up. This is how we need to define the index. Okay, order of the index is very, very important. If you define an index with an improper order, instead of improving the performance, it will degrade the performance. Got it? Instead of improving the performance, it will degrade the performance. You got it? Or do you have any queries here? In the meantime, I will update this index. Okay? To move the position, you need to use Alt and then up arrow. Okay, if you use down arrow, it will go down. If you use up arrow, it will go up. Okay?
Yeah.
Done. This is the
Yes.
proper index. Okay?
Clear. Yeah.
Country, state, district, city, street. This is how we need to define. Okay? Now, the next thing. Now we know how to define the order of the index and what will be the impact of order of the index. Okay? Now here I have created two indexes, but few times people used to say, I will create one index for zip code, I will create one index for street, I will create one index for city, like this. Okay, you can create 5 indexes. Okay, and remember, if you create more number of indexes, okay, currently I have created how many indexes? Only 2. One I call cluster, one as primary. Now let me do one thing. Let me create one more index. And I want to create 2 more indexes here. Okay, I will go to properties. I will call this as city IDX, and then allow duplicates I will set it to no. I will pull down city from here to here, and similarly I will create one more index. I will call this as state IDX, and then I will pull state from here to here, and I will set states to duplicates set to yes. Okay, because we have seen clustered and primary. Now let's see, what does it do? What does dynamics AX do when we create these indexes? Let me rebuild. Oh, I think I have started the build again. Just a second. Let it finish.
Just to, yeah. Please go ahead. Whoever is speaking.
So we can add number of fields in primary index. This is correct.
You can add. You can add any number of fields you want, but it should be unique.
Yeah, but I will share something where it was mentioned that we can add only single field in primary index.
No. You mean to say I said that, or
No.
because you can add any number of fields for primary index.
Yeah, this
Only
is what.
criteria is it should be unique.
Yeah.
Because in even in the few blogs as well, they will mention you can add only one field for primary index, but that's not the case. It can be either
That is
candidate
why
key or yep.
I got doubt. That is why.
Yep.
Kumar, one question like when we are using composite key, so that
Hmm?
time we need to make sure like whichever having less number of record, that should come first, right?
Not less number of records, less number of values. Okay,
Yeah,
because
less number
in
of
all
value.
the records you will have that field. In all the records you will have that field, but the value will be less in number. Let's say 1000 rows are there. For 300 rows you have one value. Like that you have 3 values only. It will search only 3 times.
Mhm.
It can go only 3 places. Okay,
So how you'll make sure like which value having lesser, which having, okay, it will define
when
before
you
only, right?
already, if you are defining something, you should know about the data. That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
told
yeah.
you. Okay, when you are building, when you are working with the project, the first
Mhm,
thing you need to look into is the data. Okay,
mhm,
done.
mhm.
I think I need to rebuild this. Let me do that, because I want the other 2 indexes to be created. I want to show them on SQL.
Are any limitations of field addition to the primary key index?
No, you can add any number of fields. That's why I showed you here. In the table, I have how many fields? 5 fields. I added all the 5 fields, okay, in the candidate key, and then I showed you in the primary index. You can add all the fields and then you can create a primary index. There is no limit.
Okay.
Okay, because now at this point, I would like to show you one more thing. This will be very interesting again. Now we know that the primary index and clustered index. Okay, so we have created 2 indexes and it has created. That's well and good. Now, along with this, there is one more index called non-clustered index. Okay, I want to show you this thing. Within a minute, I will show you. Okay, so now coming to the clustered index. The clustered index is used to store the data in a sorted or in a table in SQL. Whereas coming to the non-clustered index, the data for this non-clustered index is created in a separate place. What SQL will do is, for all the non-clustered indexes, it will create lookup tables by itself, and then it will store them. Okay, so as the number of tables are increasing, what you will say is, you will see that the size of the table will get increased even when there are less number of rows, because it should create the lookup tables. Okay, it should create the lookup tables, and then it needs to store that lookup tables. What is the purpose of this lookup table? For example, if I give you a textbook, okay, let's say I have given you a software engineering textbook and I ask you to search for SDLC, software development lifecycle. How will you search? You will go back to the book, and then you will have an index which contains the lookup table, and then it will be in the alphabetical order. You will go to yes, and then you will get SDLC. Is that right? This is how you will do. Similarly, if database needs to search, okay, because if it is clustered index, already it is physically sorted, so it can search the data easily. Coming to the non-clustered, it can't do that now. So what it will do? It will create a lookup table and store in some other place, and then whenever you try to search using that index, it will go back to that lookup table and then retrieve the value, and then it will retrieve the value. Okay, I think build is finished. So now let me get back and let me refresh this. One second. Connect databases, AXDB, and then tables. Okay, dbo.ama address. Okay, columns. We got all the columns. Good. Keys. Zip code ideas. Good. Constraints. I have a lot of constraints. Indexes. Now can you say this? This is what I said. Okay. City and then city state. Now I have 2 more indexes which are non-clustered index. So what database has done? It will create the lookup table and then it will store the information in that table. Now I told you, if you create more number of indexes, it will slow down the performance. How it will slow down the performance here? Can anyone tell me?
It is creating
Okay.
number of lookup tables.
Exactly. It is creating number of lookup tables. So now let's say I need to create one record. Okay. I want to add country as India. I want to add state as Telangana. I want to add district as Hyderabad. and then city Hyderabad, street, let's say AS Nagar. Okay, I want to add all this data. Okay, now if I need to add this data for the first time, how many iterations should be taken place? The first iteration would be the clustered index to store the data in a physical order. Okay, sort order. The sort order should be taken place. So that is the first iteration. What would be the second iteration? The second iteration would be zip code IDX. It should go and check whether the zip code is or it should sort on the basis of zip code. That should be the second iteration. What should be the third iteration? Again, it should create a lookup table for the city. Third iteration. It should go to the state. Fourth iteration. The number of indexes you add, that many iterations should be taken place. On single iteration, it can't do all this stuff. It should take that many number of iterations. Now, similarly, you are performing a update operation. Okay, select will be faster. You know what people will say? I will define more number of indexes because select will be faster. Okay, before thinking about the select, you need to think about insert and update. The number of indexes you add, that many number of iterations your insert should take place. That many number of iterations your update should take place. Okay, if the table has less number of rows, less number of inserts and updates, then you can define more number of indexes. If the table has large number of records, if you define more number of indexes, it is going to slow down the performance like anything. Okay, so then this is good. Then how we need to plan? Let's say you have more number of indexes and you want to plan the inserts and updates to be faster. At that time, when you are preparing the data to insert in the database, you need to prepare the data in such a way that it should take less number of iterations. When it will take less number of iterations? If you are sorting the data according to your indexes. Okay, actually there are two operations. Anyways, we will discuss that later on, but I want to tell you, record insert list and record sorted list. There are two operations. Okay, record insert list and record sorted list in AX. These two are the classes, and I saw most of the times people will use record insert list. Record insert list will not sort the data. Record sorted list will sort the data on the basis of given field or fields, and then it will insert the records. So remember, whenever you are working with more amount of data, you need to use record sorted list and define less number of indexes, because most of the times people will depend on this execution plan. Yeah, in SQL we have something called execution plan. What does that execution plan does is, it will simply check. Okay, let's say if I write select star from where city equal to some value, then what it will do is, anyway city is not there, so it will simply say create index for city. Okay, it will simply say create index for city. Remember, computer does not have knowledge. Okay, it will simply do whatever the algorithm we write. So based on that algorithm, for city index is not there, so create an index for city. This is what it says, but that is wrong, because you need to remember what is the search criteria you are giving. Based on the search criteria, you need to define the indexes. Okay, so remember, these are the things about the indexes. And there is one last topic. Okay, now I hope you know what is clustered, non-clustered, primary index, clustered index, single field index, composite key, unique, non-unique, all these things. Along with this, I told you there is one more thing called alternate key. Okay, this alternate key is again not the concept of SQL. It's only the concept of AX. Okay, in Dynamics AX, when you are working with, let's say, forms. Okay, by default, what you have done is, to the table in the properties, you have defined primary index as surrogate key. What you have defined? Primary index as surrogate key. Okay, I'm creating the record index here. Primary index as surrogate key. So when you have defined primary index as surrogate key in the form, when you use this table, okay, in any of the relation, then obviously what it will do? It will try to display the values from primary key. It will display the values from primary key. But instead of this primary key, you want to get something else. You want to get something else. We call it as the alternate key. We will call it as the alternate key. Now I will set this alternate key property to yes, and then save this. I am removing this city and state because you know very well what is the purpose of that. Next, I am defining this as the alternate key, set to yes. I will save this. Now I will go to the properties, and here in the primary key, surrogate key, zip code IDX. You got it. Remember, because most of the times this also people used to think, oh, I will not get that, but you will get it even if you set it as the alternate key because it is a unique index. Primary index will only check whether it is unique or not. Okay. Next, you should have one more property called replacement key here. In this, you will get only zip code IDX. Okay. Okay. Now let me do one more thing. I will go to this candidate key. Allow duplicates, I will set it to no. Okay. Because this is one more thing people used to think. Okay. Now I have not set alternate key to yes for this one. I have saved it. Now let me go to replacement key. I got only zip code IDX. Okay. Now I'm going to properties, allow duplicates. I'm setting it to yes, and then alternate key is disabled. If you want to define the alternate key, the criteria is it should not contain the duplicates and alternate key should be set to yes. Then only you can use this key as replacement key. Okay. Now let me change that. I will set it to no, and then I will set it to alternate key to yes, and then I will save this. Properties, replacement key. Now you can see both of them. Okay. If you want to display multiple fields, you can choose candidate key. If you want to display only one field, you can choose zip code IDX. Done. Okay. This is about the replacement key. Now after creating the replacement key, there is one more thing that will happen. Okay, let us say that in the field groups, I have auto identification. It will add the zip code. The purpose of auto identification is whenever you want to display some meaningful value instead of the primary key, which is surrogate key, then you will use replacement key. Okay, this replacement key is useful when you go to the forms. Remember this. Okay, this is about the auto identification field group and the replacement key. Okay, and replacement key it is used rarely because generally we will set the primary key itself. We will set up the value of primary key itself. Okay. Now let me rebuild, and I will open the table browser and we will create few values. And the next one is full text indexes. Okay. Sometimes we will have the descriptive fields. Okay. You will add, let's say, some 1500 character. Okay, and they will be adding number of words in the descriptive field. Okay, description, they will add number of words to it. Now if you want to index that words, then we will use full text indexes. Okay, and these full text indexes are used very rarely because 1500 characters, 2000 characters to enter the description, that is done very rarely. Okay, so the purpose of full text indexes is if you want to index the whole text which is inside the field, then you will use full text indexes. Okay. Yeah, let it build. We will create some records in the table and then we will close the session today. Now it's your time. Please let me know while it is building if you have any queries on indexes.
Kumar, when we are creating a replacement key, the purpose of this to show the field on the form.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, because when you are using this for lookup for this table, then what will happen is it will show you by default the rec ID. Instead of that rec ID, if you want to show some other value, then we will use this replacement key.
So in that case, we cannot use cluster index because we need to make that duplicate no. and then we need
No,
to
no.
say replacement key. Yes.
Clustered index is different. Clustered index you will use
No,
only
no,
for sort order in SQL.
no. Because we have primary key, primary index, so we don't want that to be visible on the form as a first column or sorting column. We want
Yes.
other fields to be visible. So
Yeah.
we make that cluster index as a replacement key. We need to set that duplicate allow no.
Exactly. If you want to use
Okay.
this candidate key, you need to
Yeah.
set this allow duplicates to no, alternate key to
And
yes. Then you can
so
use as replacement key.
yeah. So if we set allow duplicate no, it means we cannot have duplicate into this cluster index or a secondary
Yes.
index, whatever.
Yep.
So
That's
in
right.
that case, do we need to make another cluster index to have duplicate numbers and then show the column on the form?
No, yeah. Clustered index can be unique as well. Okay. Let me show you.
Yeah. But that's fine. But
Okay.
my thing is that we won't duplicate into this one. But yes, we
You
want to
can't do
make it as
that. You can't do that. In one index, you are saying that I will not have duplicates across these fields. And in the other index, you are saying that I will have duplicates. How can it be possible? It will obviously, the priority will be taken for this one and it will not allow duplicates.
uh-huh.
Okay. Because what you are saying is I have the zip code. I will create one
Yeah.
more zip code index and then I will set duplicates to yes. Okay. The priority will be taken for unique. So it will not
Okay.
allow duplicates for you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now to open the table browser, you can right click and then open table browser. Yeah, you can choose any browser. Okay. Done. You're not audible. Yeah, Prachi, you're not audible. Okay. If you want to say something, I think you have issue with your mic, or you can ping me. I will answer the questions. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you want to create a new record, select the new button and city. You can say Hyderabad. Country. Oh, country. We have the lookup. Yeah. No, it does not have anything. India. Oh, we have used the address country region ID. Okay, then I need to use IN. Okay. Can you say this? We have used the address country region ID EDT. From there we are getting this lookup. Okay. District, state, street, zip code. Okay. Now you can see there is an arrow mark on this zip code that indicates that the sort order will be on this way on the base of this zip code. Okay. Save. Done. So this is how you can create the records. Okay. And currently the company is USRT by default. If you want, you can change the company to USMF or something else. Okay. New button, and you can say city as HSR Road and R&D, and I will say Bangalore, Karnataka, and let's say 43021. Done. Okay. Done. This is how you are going to create the records. Now, if you try to create the duplicate record, it will throw the error here itself. Okay. Let me do one thing. Cannot create a record. The record already exists. This is how it throws. Okay. And this is about the indexes and how to create the records and everything. Now, what we will do is we will go to the next step, which is relations. Okay. And coming to this relations, time will not be enough today. So we'll discuss that tomorrow. Okay. Now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries.
Kumar, so primary key and cluster key almost same only, right? Like,
Primary index and clustered index, there are few
yeah,
differences. Okay. They are not same, or you should not call them almost same, because primary index is used for sort order in AX, clustered index is used for sort order in SQL. Point number one. Point number two, primary index cannot have duplicates, clustered index can have duplicates. Okay.
Okay.
Any other queries?
Yeah,
Mahesh,
but what I know, like there's a we in SQL only one cluster key, and we can define many non-cluster key. So it is
Yes,
true, or
that is
like
right. In SQL, you can
so
define only one clustered index because clustered index is defining the sort order. So how many sort orders can you define here? If you have one set of data, you can define only one sort order for that. You cannot define multiple sort orders. It is not possible.
so th so that that will be unique only, right? Like
Yeah.
so then it is like primary
Cluster.
index only.
That's what. Clustered is clustered can be unique or non-unique.
Okay.
Okay. Primary key. Okay, if you say SQL, we will call it as a primary key. That primary key should be unique. Clustered index can be unique or cannot be unique. Okay, it can have duplicates in it. You can make any index clustered. Okay, you have seen now itself, huh? Now let me go to SQL and show you. Select star from AMA address. Run. We have defined the clustered index here. Okay. Currently, it has taken with country and all this stuff. So if you want, you can modify them. You can add the records and you can see.
Yeah, come on.
Clustered can have duplicates, but primary index cannot have duplicates. Primary key cannot have duplicates. Okay, which is why you can see there's a key here. There is a difference. Key index. Okay, remember.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Any other queries?
Yes,
Mahesh,
Kumar.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, if we create multiple indexes and keep it in the system for some time, and we have some transaction recorded. After that, if we create some particular invoice, index, will it affect on the records?
No. For that, there are some criteria you need to remember. When you're creating one new index, let's say I have created city, and for Hyderabad city, let's say I have created 100 streets. Later on, I made Hyderabad as unique index. What will happen? It will not allow you to create the index. It will simply say the data has duplicates. So first of all, modify the data and then create the index.
Yes, but if we create the indexes in the beginning only, and after a few transactions, if we just remove the indexes, then how it will affect on
If you
the
remove the
record?
index, nothing is going to happen. Okay. If you
It will
remove
not
the
delete the
index,
record.
exactly. It is not going to change the records, because remember, if you are removing the index, are you removing non-clustered index or clustered index or primary index? Whatever
Any one
you
of
delete.
yes.
Okay, whatever you delete. If you delete the clustered index, you need to define the sort order. Okay, clustered
Okay.
index is needed. Clustered index is mandatory there. Okay, because you can see here, if I go to the table properties, there should be clustered index and primary index. The two should be set. You need to create new primary index and new clustered index if you delete them. Otherwise, by default, you need to set surrogate key.
Okay.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
queries?
Yeah, Kumar, if I want to display the primary key in the first column of the table, we can do it, or else it will define display by alphabetical order. Now here
You can do
we
it
have
on the form. You can do it on the form.
not
On
like
the form,
dragging,
you can.
not like
No.
personalizing.
Coming to the table, you can't do that because this is from systable browser. Okay. If you want to customize, it is from systable browser. We need to customize the standard code. But you can do that on the forms. On form, we can organize the fields. I will show you when we go to the forms.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
In forms, it's not on the alphabetical order.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. If there are no queries, I will end session for everyone.
We have tomorrow,
Yeah.
and okay, we have every day now.
Yeah, we will have tomorrow. Okay. Except Sunday, we will have session all the other days. Okay. Session will continue 6 days a week. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.